Hello and welcome to this hands-on lab where we will see more of AWS Cloud Watch. We will create Cloudwatch alarms and Cloudwatch event, and we will see how these two Cloudwatch services respond to change in state or change in metrics. All right. So first things first, let us talk more about Cloudwatch alarms. In AWS, there are so many resources that can be created, and all these resources, they have their own metrics. So it is nothing new. We have our metrics, right? For example, my metrics could be my age, gender, location, weight, stuff like these. In the same way, let us talk about EC2. So EC2 instances have metrics like CPU, disk, network, RAM. So Cloudwatch out of the box monitors some of these metrics of EC2, and we can create a Cloudwatch alarm to respond to a change in metrics. One of these metrics, we can pick any of these, create an alarm for that metric, and if it changes beyond the threshold limit that we have set, it will actually go into alarm state and perform a few actions. Okay. So in the first lab, we will create an EC2 instance. Then we will configure Cloudwatch alarm to monitor CPU utilization of this EC2 instance. And then once it goes into alarm state, it will stop the EC2 instance. And all this will happen automatically. All right. So everything starts from creating the EC2 instance, which you know by now how to do that. So I'm going to create the EC2 instance once again. Launch instances. Select. Configure. I think everything's good here. We don't need to change anything. Add storage, which is good. No need to add tags. Configure security group. We will select one of the existing ones. That's okay. Review and launch. Launch. This key pair is good for me. Launch instances. So now this instance is getting launched. Cloudwatch takes some time. In fact, EC2 instances take some time before they actually start generating metrics for this instance. And once the instances generate metric, then that can be monitored by Cloudwatch. You can see it here, right? It is still in the process of generating it because the instance is still getting created. I'll pause this video and we will resume this video when the metrics for this EC2 instance have been created and Cloudwatch can create an alarm from one of these metrics. I think metrics are generated now. So let us go to the Cloudwatch service. Okay. And here, let us first go to the metrics that we want to track, which is CPU utilization for our EC2 instance with instance ID this. All right. Let us see EC2. So there are metrics for all these services per instance metrics. Now, metrics for this EC2 instance is shown CPU utilization. This is what we want to track. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So now let us go to alarms. Create alarm. Select metric. And we know which metric we want, right? Which is from EC2 per instance metrics and for this EC2 instance, CPU utilization. Great. Select metric. Now, period is very important because it indicates the amount of time Cloudwatch will monitor this metric to take action. So every 1 minute, it will watch over this metric, and if there is some anomaly, there's something which does not fall within the threshold range, we can do something. Okay. Static is good. Lower. So since there's nothing going on this EC2 instance, so CPU utilization is always going to be very normal. So let us say 40%. Okay. So what we're doing here is we are saying that if in a period of 1 minute, CPU utilization is lower than, for this EC2 instance, CPU utilization for this EC2 instance in a period of 1 minute is lower than 40%, then we can do one of these. We can create a notification. We can do some auto scaling action. We can do EC2 action and then system manager ops center action. It is a new feature, this last one. In this lab, we will add an EC2 action. So remove this. In EC2 action, add EC2 action. When the alarm is in alarm, we want to stop this instance. Okay. We could have done one of these. So I'm just trying to stop this instance if CPU utilization is less than 40% for that EC2 instance. That's it. Click on next. Let us call it my first alarm. And next. This is the review page. When in alarm, stop this instance. This is the action. Create alarm. Now, right now, it does not have sufficient data. So it is in the process of data collection. Now, as soon as it has sufficient data and it discovers that CPU utilization is less than 40 for one data point within 1 minute, because this is the period that we had selected, then one action is scheduled, which is to stop this instance. So we'll have to wait. And in the meantime, we can take a look at our EC2 instance. This is in running state as of now. It is running beautifully, no issues. And okay, so let me pause the video, although it will not take a lot of time. So yeah, let's not pause it. Let me talk about something that we will do after this. So I think this video will exceed the time frame that I want this video to be at. Hence, I'll create another video wherein we will talk about Cloudwatch events and we'll perform the lab. So in this lab, we will only perform the Cloudwatch alarm action. All right, let me refresh this. It took a little bit of time, but now it is in alarm state from insufficient data. And what is the action? Action is to stop this instance. Let us see if it does stopped. It was so fast. So that's exactly what alarms can do. You can actually create an alarm to track a specific metric from these AWS services. In our case, we chose AWS EC2 instance and a specific EC2 instance, and we were tracking and monitoring the CPU utilization metric. When it went below 40%, alarm was in alarm state. It triggered an action, which is to stop the instance. That's it. Great. So as I mentioned earlier, we will perform the second part of CloudWatch, which is CloudWatch events in our next lab session. Thank you, and looking forward to see you in the next session.